Good morning, YouTube. You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday, right? I'm not confused. It's Saturday. What's wrong with me? Anyways, happy Saturday. It's the weekend. We made it. I turned the volume down right as the song ended. We'll see if it worked. I tell you what, guys, I had a plan to tell all kinds of stories and stuff at the beginning of this, and they all just kind of fled my head just now. So, that being said, maybe we'll just get into it. Expectations. Expectations, folks. Can't live with them, can't live without them. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there are positives and negatives to these things. There are ways we can shape expectations to serve us rather than not serve us. And we're going to talk about it today. Nicola E., Jason P., Robin Miners. Hello, hello. What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? I just had something funny happen and I can't remember what it is. Well, I guess it wasn't that important. Happy Saturday, guys. Happy to see you. I didn't do art yesterday, and I was about to go on, and then my dad was still on, and then I was about to go on, and Uncle Johnny went on, and it just became a scheduling nightmare, so I figured we could just do it today. Sorry to mislead you once again. It was not my intent, but we have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and there's not a whole lot of room in this kitchen, so we're getting better at it. We are definitely on this upward trajectory as far as efficiency and whatnot. Kevin Hawthorne, Jason P., Robin, Nicola, Kristen, hello, hello. What are expectations, folks? I really wish I remembered what story I wanted to tell, because it was good. Jamie Palmer, hello, hello. We usually start with the good old-fashioned definition, huh? Expectations are beliefs or assumptions about what should happen or how someone should behave. They play a big role in how we experience relationships, achieve goals, and manage our emotions. While expectations can be helpful, they can also lead to disappointment, folks, especially if they're unrealistic or poorly communicated, which I feel like is probably the most common way that we do this wrong, right? Is poorly communicate our expectations, whether it's to ourselves, to another. You get it, right? Here's a breakdown of what expectations are, why they matter, and how to manage them effectively. Making chicken soup. That sounds fire. I'm pretty hungry myself. I had to get some donuts this morning. It's about a grocery day today. Jeremy Fowler, good morning. Good morning. Kristen says there was a classic TLB vid about expectations that kind of blew my mind. This is a good topic. Well, you'll be happy to know that I called my dad. I was like, "What's a good topic?" And he said, "You should do expectations." And I said, "Okay. I think that's a great topic." Morning, love it. Good morning. Good morning. What are expectations? Well, expectations are mental predictions or standards, right? We create based on a few things. Tony's Hooter, hello, hello, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. These predictions or standards can be based on past experiences, right? Things you've learned or observed prior, cultural or societal norms, what society or our environment suggests is typical or acceptable, and finally, but not least, personal desires or goals, right? What I want for myself or others. Now, expectations, this is an important part too. I mean, I guess it's all important, but this especially. Expectations can be either explicit, aka clearly stated, or implicit, assumed or unspoken. Now, I'll give you three guesses, but the first two don't count. Which of these is good and which of these is not? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? We would like to clearly communicate expectations if we have them, whether it's to ourselves, to someone else, to a group that we're working with. Implicit expectations will lead you to hurt feelings, stress, tenuous relationships. Implicit, they say assuming makes a you know what out of you and me or whatever, right? That's basically what we're talking about here. If you have implicit expectations, no one can read your mind. And I've done this as well. I've had implicit expectations. This is something that we all do subconsciously. So bringing our subconscious into the conscious realm, right? These are things we talk about all the time. We'd like to clearly communicate, clearly state our expectations. Otherwise, they're probably not going to be met, right? People do what they do. Kim, what's going on? Good morning. Shimmy, shimmy. How you doing? Expectations are the root cause of all suffering. I don't know if I agree with all suffering, but expectations are definitely the cause of a ton of suffering. I feel like I'm not qualified to necessarily say everything, but maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Let's find out. Izzy E, good morning. I was thinking about you this morning, Izzy. I'm glad you're here. I hope this message finds you well. Tina Marie, hello, hello. TK. Oh, this coffee is so good. So, types of expectations. There are self expectations, beliefs about what you should achieve or how you should behave. I should always be productive, as an example. That's not necessarily possible, right? Expectations of others, assumptions about how people should act, often based on your own values, right? This is kind of a little bit of projection going on there. I have assumptions about how other people should act based upon how my values, but they have their own values, right? Recognizing that, I think, will help this not be an issue. But an example of this is my friend should always text me back right away, right? Well, that's kind of unrealistic, I think, in my opinion. Another kind of expectation, your message finds me smoke free. We'll see about well in a couple weeks, probably. Oh my. Um, well, congratulations. That's pretty sweet, I have to say. How long have you been smoke free, Izzy? Is it just today? Is today day one? Love it says I woke up feeling weirded out. Hate it, but willing to wait it out. I also woke up feeling strange, low energy. I did not feel good this morning, but we're doing it. We're doing the dang thing. I guess I could have opened with that. That today was a wrong side of the bed morning for Calhoun for me. But we're doing it. Today is day two, says Izzy. Well, heck yeah. You are, I believe 3 days is like when it's the hardest part, right? And then it's all mental. I might be a little bit wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure the first 3 days are the hardest, and the first 2 weeks are nothing to scoff at. But after that, it's all a mental game. Bravo, I agree. Bravo, Izzy. Good job. You know, smoke's not necessarily good for your lungs. Nicotine ain't necessarily bad for you. I mean, in high quantities and in extreme doses, it's not good for you, right? But I don't, nicotine itself isn't necessarily that bad for you. There has some carcinogenic properties, I'm pretty sure. There's this and there's that, but in small doses, it's even said to extend your life a little bit. So getting rid of the smoking is really good. I'm not trying to convince you to take up nicotine in other forms. Maybe that was the wrong thing to say right then, but keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. James Collins, what's going on? Happy solstice to you too, my friend. Oh, it's weird. In Salt Lake, I was always celebrating the solstice, and now I'm here with my family in Tucson, and Christmas is the word being thrown around. And I hadn't even thought about solstice until you said that. I forget that there's different kind of different strokes for different folks, I guess, or different. It's like the same thing, but it's different. I don't care enough about yeah, religious stuff, and I don't. I mean, it's all the same to me. I guess. What's that? The first principle of Hermeticism. I think all of that stuff is pretty much the same to me. Um, Izzy says, for me, day one was the worst. Once I've made the decision, it's done. I'll handle whatever my body has to go through as it comes. Wow, that is inspiring, Izzy. I have to say, the will of iron, Izzy E. That's awesome. Why do expectations matter, folks? Love it says it always seems unfair to wake up weirded out because there's no clues to track it down. Yeah, it kind of feels like we were robbed of what could have been a great day, right? Not that our day's not going to be great now, but we're definitely starting off walking uphill, you know? We're definitely starting off on a foot that's a little uncomfortable, huh? I think we definitely have got this in the bag, love it, but it is subpar. You know, it's subpar for sure. James Collins says it just allows me to be a person of love and less judgment. That is a beautiful sentiment, and I think that we could all learn something from that for sure. Because that's what it comes down to. I think. I think that's what really matters at the end of the day: how we treat ourselves, how we treat each other. right? Do we have love in our heart or not? Are we moving in love? Are we moving in fear, right? Are we like Biggie Smalls moving in silence and violence? Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just love. Izzy. Izzy says, I can't speak for anyone else, but got some hair in my mouth. Pop out a kid and your definition of pain gets shifted a little bit. Upside down smiley face. What wonderful punctuation and imagery here. Wonderful. Wonderful. No, I definitely can't relate, but I can only imagine, you know? I can only imagine. I definitely have a different definition of pain today than I did, 15 years ago. And that's has nothing to do with children, but everything to do with the path that I walked, right? Kristen says, we will get back into this, I promise. I had an expectation that when I went to sleep wearing two socks, I would wake up with two. I woke up with only one on and was therefore perturbed. Hence, I should lower my sock expectations. I really do like this. Did you know I can't remember if it's a state or a country, but I think it's a state in the union. There's a state where it's illegal to fall asleep with your socks on. And I'm pretty sure that has to do with infidelity and cheating. Because if you live here, right, why would you leave your socks on to do that or something? I don't know. Read that in a book somewhere. Kind of a fun fact. There are some silly laws out there. Maybe one of these Saturdays when we have a less serious boat, we'll go through all the really silly laws that they have in different places, like horse-drawn carriage laws and stuff. Jamie Palmer says, this is a common sentiment, by the way, Jamie. I feel like I hear this from people a lot. I have felt this myself. This is definitely a point of contention in like today's digital world, right? Jamie says, I have an unrealistic expectation of my friends that I'm working on. If I'm texting slash DMing a friend, I hate making them wait for a response. And for those that don't know, DMing is direct messaging, which is texting, right? I hate making them wait for a response, so I don't like it if they make me wait. I'm working on it. I can totally relate with this. And um, my how I operate with like on this level has changed over time. And Takara and I have found a very nice balance because we're romantically involved, but we're also like not like a singular item, right? And we live in different states. So like we love each other, we want to talk all the time, and we also don't want to like I don't know, it's like a kind of a nice balancing act, right? You don't want to overwhelm and you don't want to feel too needy or whatever, right? But sometimes we're both also really neurospicy. So it's really easy for me to like tell myself, oh, she's off on a tangent, right? Or she's focusing on stuff, or she's real busy running around doing her thing, right? So it's real easy for me not to hold it against her when she doesn't text me right back because I get it. That's how my brain works too. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and sometimes the fact that I'm getting a text message right this moment and that sound's going off is stressing me out, right? So I get it. I totally get it. And we found a nice balance to where you know we won't let the other person wait, but we also like make space for ourselves that we need. So there's a nice balance that can be reached, and I think sometimes it just takes the right person. Spanx, that's friends with benefits. That very well may be the case, but you don't always get romantically involved with someone that's a friends with benefits. Please don't try to disparage my relationship. I would appreciate that. I know that's not your intention, but that's kind of how it feels, TK. Um, just putting that out there. Kim says, whenever you're on, I find you quite refreshing. It's nice to see someone that's telling the truth and being real without any childish antics. We might have a little bit more fun with the antics, but definitely not my thing. I know you mean it in a good way, TK, and I don't take any offense. I just seemed dangerously close to not speaking nice about Takara, and she's an angel, whether or not she gives me the full time of day. But no, I appreciate you looking out for me, TK. I really do appreciate it. That was me drawing a boundary. Did you see that? Practicing. James Collins says, interdependency, bro. You're good with you and she's good with her. And when you're together, you're both better. Sounds healthy. And even when that second part isn't the case, we can come to a place where we're better again, right? We can talk about it and communicate. Love you, TK. I hope that it's all right for me to draw that boundary. I hope that that was received well. I definitely wasn't trying to give you any sort of backhand or anything like that. Obviously metaphorical. I would never put hands on a woman, right? But yeah, I hope, yeah, just trying to communicate. Sometimes communication is a little uncertain and uncomfortable, and we just do our best, right? We just do our best. All right. Why expectations matter. This is the meat and potatoes here. Expectations can shape our experiences and relationships positively or negatively, folks. The positive side, motivation. This is probably the biggest thing on the list here. Setting high expectations for yourself can push you to achieve goals and grow, right? And that's something that I sorely need sometimes, a little motivation. Obviously, we can set our expectations too high, right? So let's try not to, but also clarity. Clear expectations can guide behavior and reduce misunderstandings. Um, and also structure. Having expectations creates a framework for decision making and relationships, right? So things become easier if we're doing this properly. Now, the dreaded negative side, disappointment. Disappointment. When expectations are not met, it can lead to frustration. Imagine that, or sadness, right? As well as stress. High or unrealistic expectations can create pressure, especially if you feel like you're falling short. And at the bottom here, we have conflict. Assumed, again, here's that word again, or poorly communicated expectations can lead to tension in a relationship, right? So we definitely, back to the beginning, what did we say? Your expectations can be explicit or implicit. We definitely want them to be explicit, right? We don't want people to have to guess if we're dealing with, a group project or, I don't know, expectations involving other people and whatnot. We want to be explicit, even, excuse me, even with ourselves. I say often the lies we tell ourselves are the hardest to see through. Well, if we're not explicit with our expectations for ourselves, how can we meet them? I mean, I guess I can read my own mind, right? So I don't have that excuse this time. But but I still want to be as clear as possible with myself, especially, right? I'm the most important. I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone else. I just mean, as far as I'm concerned, I need to take care of myself first, right? The whole airplane mask thing. TK says, Spanx, this is why direct communication is so much better. Chatting gets lost in translation a lot. 100%. If I could have heard your tone of voice, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. 100%. You're absolutely right. And that is my biggest gripe about texting is I can't hear you say it, There's so much inflection in communication, right? There's so much not like words that are a part of communication. And we don't get any of that when, I mean, I guess punctuation attempts to help, but there's not enough punctuation for the amount of inflection that we can have in an actual conversation. Izzy E. Expectations are fine so long as I stay flexible and remember that there's always a chance they don't manifest. 100%, right? Staying curious about the outcome and trusting I can navigate anything. There we go. Okay, that seems like a positive, flexible. What's another word for flexible? I feel like, I don't know, resilient. That sounds like a nice mindset to have. A mindset for success, if I dare say. Does anyone else lose their earbud case like 3 times a day? I used to when those were the earbuds I was using, but now I use a pair that doesn't have a case. Speaking of, they're charged. Now I use these, so I just kind of drape them on stuff, and I don't have to worry about it. They're like hanging up on things. Kind of helps me out. But I have old headphone cases laying around the house everywhere with one headphone in each of them, by the way. Not only am I losing the cases, I'm losing one of the headphones as well. Doing great. Doing great. Oh, I forgot to ask you, Anna, how did your surstroming party go? I can't believe I forgot about that. It must have been a banger. Haven't had time to sleep for 6 days. Oh my, you need some sleep, TK. We got to get you some rest and relax. That's very, very dangerous. I mean, I assume you're getting small snippets of sleep or you wouldn't be among the living anymore. 6 days is too many to not get any sleep. Beta says, I'm terrible at this, but I'm trying to work on it. When a situation doesn't meet my expectations, communication doesn't help, or communicating doesn't help, and I feel chaos. The pressure it makes me want to bring pressure. It makes me want to bring my own order. Interesting. Interesting, 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 Beta. I'm going to read this again, internalize it, and hopefully I have something productive to say in response. Are these I guess let's pick one of these situations as an example, right? You don't need to share it with us, but I'm going to ask you about one of these situations. Just pick one of them as an example, right? You say when a situation doesn't meet my expectations, communicating doesn't help. I feel the chaos, and so when what sort of situations are we talking about here, right? Are these situations involving other people? Are these expectations? I guess the proper question is: are these expectations you're putting on yourself? Are these expectations you have of others? Or are these like external expectations, like we were saying, standards placed on you by others, like families, employers, society? What sort of expectations are we talking here? Because I may be able to help you uh, grab a little insight into your situation. I would like to at least. My pal Sal, hello, hello. Good to see you. Good morning. Kim says, is it something you could come back to later when you're feeling better? I think this is also a great idea, right? Especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is one of my go tos. So let's just take a break for a sec. We'll come back and think about it with a clear head after I eat some lunch, right? Or whatever. Jamie says, Spanx, I'm working on using texting to help me communicate better because so much can get lost with just reading words on a screen. Well, heck yeah. I tell you what, communication is king. If we can understand each other, then there's nothing left to guesswork, right? As soon as TK says, as soon as I have time to edit the photos, I'll send them out. Ba, 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 ba. But my son takes my phone and I'm not allowed to chat. Okay, okay. Understood. I'm excited to see all these different surstroming dishes. Emma Fenn, hello, hello. Having to lip read. Oh my. That's funny. You know, headphones don't even have phones. Oh, I guess my phone does have a headphone jack, but I was going to say phones don't even have headphone jacks anymore, making it difficult for us. Hmm. Did we finish the negative side? Yes. Okay. Managing expectations, folks. Oh my. Bumped my tooth, spilled the coffee. We're fine. The reason I don't really wear this shirt anymore is because I spilled coffee right on the front and it's been stained forever. But I can't for the life of me find the stain anymore. So I think it's time to bust this shirt back out. Managing expectations for yourself. Let me get some back support in this mother. For yourself. So managing expectations for yourself. Set realistic goals. We have heard that before. Aim high, but keep your goals achievable. Recognize your limitations. Give yourself grace, especially when things don't go as planned. Right? Stay flexible, like Izzy was saying. Life is unpredictable. Be open to adapting your expectations as situations change, folks. Because life likes to throw us curveballs, sinkers, diggers, divers, fastballs. It likes to keep us guessing. Focus on effort over outcomes, right? Give it your college try. And what happens is going to happen. We don't always have Man, what is going on? We don't always have control over the expectations. Shelly, hello, hello. It's been a long time. It's good to see you. How are you? I'm doing great today, by the way. All is very well. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but I think hanging out with the crew, having some coffee, I had a little donut earlier. I think, it's turning right around. Right round, right round. You know, the day's turning right around. Jason says, please hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. Kim says, the older I've gotten, the stronger my boundaries become. And this is how it should be. We should be getting better and better, right? As we age, right? With wisdom, with knowledge, with experience. Um, if we're seeming to not get better with age, we might want to evaluate some decisions and behaviors that are a part of our life. Love it says some days those curveballs feel like they come from a pitching machine. 100%. If you've never been to the batting cages, the sound that the machine that shoots the balls makes is intimidating. The thing throws those suckers pretty darn quick. And I definitely when life's shooting the balls at me, I'm definitely not stoked. It's not the best day when you have to do the matrix just to make it through the day. All right. Focus on effort over outcomes. Instead of expecting perfection, appreciate the process and the progress. Example, rather than expecting to master a skill quickly, right? We aim to practice consistently. So I'm not going to be a legendary shred-a-thon guitarist today, right? But I am going to play for an hour today, and I'm going to play for an hour tomorrow, and the following day, and maybe one day I'll just be able to, do the whole dang thing, which would be sweet one day. One day. Oh, speaking of, my dad put a new band on my watch, guys. Check it out. Where's my thing? Not bad. Not bad. I'm a minimalist for sure. I like that there's nothing crazy on the face. There's not any numbers. There's literally nothing. It says the brand and then it's gold. And that's it. And it's this thin. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a Wittenauer. Let me spell it. Wittenauer. It's a winder. I have to wind it every morning. Shelley says, all you can do is practice at whatever you want to master. You'll get there through patience and grace. Absolutely, right? A little bit of consistency, a little discipline, right? I also, guys, you'll be happy to know I've started meditating. Yesterday, I meditated for 20 minutes, which might not sound like a lot, but it felt like an eternity to me. I set a goal lol, for 30 minutes and I landed at 20. So maybe that's my baseline. We're going to do it again today. I'm also going to be attempting to meditate every single day because I would like to try and master within so that I can change without, if that makes any sense at all. And I think meditation for someone like me whose brain is just woo, 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 speed racer all the time could be very good. And it's something that I have known power of, right? But have not implemented. All the successful people in my life meditate. And if I'm journaling for that reason, maybe I should meditate for that reason too, right? There's no difference between them. So, as far as I'm concerned. So, I'm going to let you guys know how that continues to go. Yesterday, it was very uncomfortable. Today, hopefully, it will be less. Yeah, the leather, I didn't think I'd like the leather, Izzy. I love it. I didn't even really pay attention to the stitching until you said that, Izzy. It was a nice white, though. Probably don't want to get those white stitches dirty. Then it's going to start to look like it's dirty, right? Oh, speaking of, I don't know if you can see it, Izzy, but my wow, my trophy is right in the way. My feather that I was telling you about is over there on top of my stereo. It's kind of hard to see, but I have it laid out on like a strap of leather, and it's just kind of like a part. It's kind of like an altar, but not really. I have like all of my nice memorabilia over there because I don't have a lot of tables. And I thought to myself, why am I keeping this feather that came to me in the closet, like in a box? Like I understand I want to protect it or whatever, but I felt like that wasn't reverent, so I decided to lay it out to celebrate. So it's over there. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm not gonna mess with the zoom right now. I don't think it's worth it. It was in the center. Here, we can just hang out like this for the rest of the show, so I'm not messing with you guys. It's just to the left of the Christmas decorations. It's just above this. It's right here. That white piece is the part that goes in the bird. That's the part that's attached to the bird. Okay, my brain today. For others, again, we're managing expectations, right? We were just managing them for ourselves. Now we're managing them for others. Communicate clearly. Share your needs and expectations directly instead of assuming people will just know, right? Example, instead of thinking, they should have helped me without being asked, say, you can help me with this, right? As well as accept individual differences. Recognize that others have their own values, priorities, and limitations. We're all different. We're all unique. All right. In the beginning, we said, I have to scroll up now to see it. In the beginning, we said, there's different types of expectations, right? Expectations for others, external expectations, self expectations. My friend should always text me back right away, right? Um, we want to share and the difference between explicit and implicit, right? We want to share our needs and expectations directly. We want to communicate these things clearly so that people can understand what we're talking about. So people know what to expect, right? They're not going to read our minds. They can't do that. Um, and also, again, accept individual differences, right? Recognize that others' values system is most likely different than yours, right? So you can't hold them to the same standard that you hold yourself. In fact, no matter what, you most likely shouldn't be holding other people to the same standard you hold yourself to. Because, I mean, there's a million things we could talk about right there, but just the simple fact that we all have our own unique moral values, right? Our own unique value systems, period. I don't think it's fair to, we're going to be met with disappointment if we try to hold people to our expectations, right? Anyways, lower unrealistic standards. Expecting people to never make mistakes or always meet your needs is unfair and can harm relationships, right? We're going to hit obstacles, we're going to hit bumps in the road, and our ability to handle them together is going to define our relationship. That could be its own show, I think. From others, how to manage expectations put on us from other people, right? This is our third and final section of this section. Section in a section, dream within a dream. Clarify what's expected. If someone's expectations are not clear, ask questions, right? We want to avoid the confusion. Just ask. Tommy Bird, what's going on, big dog? Good to see you, man. Good morning, Tommy. Good to see you, man. MFN says, I find it so hard to meditate. I can't switch my mind off. I sit there thinking what to have for tea. I love peace, though. I tell you what, MFN, this is the meat and potatoes of meditation right here. The thing is you cannot switch your mind off. That's not what we're going for, right? We want to observe our thoughts. Usually, when we have thoughts, we are our thoughts, right? We're inside the thoughts. I'm sitting here and my mental dialogue is what my attention is on, right? So if we can take a small mental step back and just kind of observe, right? Just look at our thoughts, which is kind of a weird differentiation to make, right? But let's say I'm sitting here attempting to meditate, and then I start to think about going to see Takara or the interacting with my dad later today. I'm going to recognize, like, okay, I see you thought, and then I just kind of let it go. I'm not passing judgment on the thought. I'm not saying, yes, this is good. No, this is bad. I'm not saying we need to, think about this a little more later or anything like that, right? I'm just recognizing that I'm thinking about my dad, or I'm recognizing this thought that I'm having, regardless of what it is. And then kind of coming back to the sensation of air coming in and out of my nose, right? Coming back to this sensation of my lungs filling with air and deflating. And you just kind of continue doing that. And in doing so, what you're doing is you're practicing not indulging your thought process like 100%. Remember when I said in the beginning that we are, like, usually we are in the thought process, like that mental dialogue is us? I don't know how else to say that. There's got to be a better way to use words to describe what I'm trying to say, but it enables you to separate yourself from that thought process, that inner dialogue, and then you have power over it, right? If I'm not intrinsically attached, like, because it's a habit, it's a habitual behavior thing. When I'm having a mental dialogue, I'm following it along intensely, right? But you don't have to do that. That mental dialogue will happen regardless of where your attention is, right? So I can have my attention wherever, on my breathing, and as these thoughts happen, I'm observing them, letting them go, whatever. But the point is that I'm learning how to have more mental dexterity, right? I'm learning how to separate. I'm learning how to have more power within myself, right? How to sift through things in my mind, especially like if you're like me, neurospicy, ADHD, all kinds of stuff. My brain is going, 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 going. If I could slow that sucker down, it would benefit me largely. And I don't mean if it could just be slow all the time. I mean if I could consciously turn the speed down when I need to, right? And then turn it back up, or the volume, the speed, whatever. And that's what meditation is. It's a practice of. It's a practice of learning how to use the tools inside my mind and my body to change that kind of stuff, right? Mental dexterity, I think, is a great way to put it. When I was a kid, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, why can't I control my thoughts? And she was like, well, none of us can really truly control our thoughts. We're kind of a passenger, kind of a party to our thoughts. And that's what meditation serves to do, is put you in the driver's seat of your own thoughts, right? Again, we're not directing our thoughts when we're meditating. We're observing them. We're asserting that the thoughts are not us, right? We are not our thoughts. They're separate. So hopefully that made enough sense. As I get deeper into meditating practice, I'm sure that I'll have more better things to say about it. Izzy E says meditation comes in many forms. If you haven't found your style, stay curious, try something new. I really love this statement here. I'm gonna start saying this. Stay curious. Beta, I will scroll up to your example. Absolutely. Safad, Izark and Fruit, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Looking stellar as ever, good buddy. How you been, man? Happy solstice, Christmas, whatever you celebrate. May it be merry, and may you and yours be well. Scrolling. I wonder if I scrolled past it. Scrolling back down to the bottom, and we're going to try again. Hmm. Chat is flying today, Beta. I'm having a hard time finding your. I bet you it's right here, though. Oh, you had two parts. With teachers, physiotherapists, or other specialists, When I know it's now. I'm not sure I understand, Vita. Was there a message preceding this one, or is this the first one? Whenever you see me doing that with my lips, you know what I'm doing? I used to have snake bites that I have scars right here and right here, and where there's like, it's like what was a hole. So it's like I don't know, it feels like a marble in my lip. So sometimes I chew on it. It's just a what used to be a hole. Anyways, with teachers, physiotherapists, or other specialists, when I know it's now, I don't know, and I'm sure I'm just reading it wrong. When I know it's now, what it should look like, because I already tried this approach and I expect them to one, hear me out, and two, be more flexible and try other methods. And it is often received as crossing boundaries or lecturing them, but it's never my intention. Teachers, physiotherapists, specialists. So the part I don't understand, Beta, is after specialists. When I know it's now, what it should look like. What are you saying there? I'm sure that there's just a typo, or my brain is just not clicking. But I'm understanding that you're having trouble with people in this position, teachers, physiotherapists, specialists, and it seems to be a communication issue. But please repeat the part that I'm struggling with. How to communicate expectations without it being perceived as lecturing. Okay, well that helps. Well, there's a number of ways to go about this. And we can try different things. Different things might work for different people better. Different things might work for different doctors and specialists better, right? Because everyone's different. Like some people are prone to don't take this to the bank, right? Don't go try to influence people or whatever. But some people are susceptible to praise. Some people are susceptible to bait, right? And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just using that as an example of everyone's brain is different, right? So um, how this specialist receives your communication might be completely different from how. What are we doing here? Where's my camera? How this one over here receives it. That's why that's happening. So I'll give you a couple examples or a couple things you could try. Something that I like to lead with, if especially like if I don't have any further information, I don't have any reason to believe that one method will work better than another. I'll start with saying something nice, right? I'll lead off with something positive, like, "Hey, I really appreciate you seeing me today," or "I really appreciate your help. This has been really bugging me, but I also just want to communicate, my nervousness, and I have some expectations." And again, also, I think it would be very helpful to know what your expectations for these people are. Are they realistic? I'm not asking that because I think your expectations are unrealistic, right? But that was a big part of this earlier was, we want to make sure that our expectations are realistic. And as far as not coming across as lecturing, it's just the way in which we communicate, which is not necessarily the easiest, right? But if you lead off with something nice and then maybe phrase it in a question, it doesn't sound like you're telling. Phrasing it as a question, leading with something like especially nice or praising, or what's another way to say that? Just, butter their muffin a little bit and then set expectations. That can help. But often, I think framing it as a question is the singular most disarming way to phrase something. Because if you're asking a question, the only way they can misconstrue it is as sarcasm, right? And it's pretty easy to, I think, to convey this. I'm not being sarcastic, especially maybe you're like the least sarcastic person that you know. No one would ever possibly think that you're making an attempt at sarcasm, right? So I think that's a pretty clear cut method is to phrase it as a question. But also, it totally depends on the nature of the expectations, the nature of the relationship between you and this person. There's a lot of factors at play. Yeah, let's definitely put them ones up, huh? Jamie says, in my opinion, I would say the doctor stating expectations and the patient perceiving it as lecturing. It may be an issue with the patient because that's how they perceive it as lecturing. And also, Beta, when you're going to a doctor or a specialist, you need to apprise them of your situation. If they feel like you're lecturing them, we're missing a piece of info here, right? They're supposed to be informed about what's going on with you. And this is the impression that I got to part two of what Jamie was saying, because the patient may think they know better than the doctor. I'm sure the doctors run into that a lot, right? But really, we're concerned for our health, and there's lots of bad doctors out there, right? So really, I think these doctors should just take a look in the mirror and calm themselves down, right? Just take a chill pill, dog. Your peers have made this way, right? My experiences in the past have made this interaction difficult, so please just help me out here. Help me, help you, help me. Help us. You know? Does that help? I hope that helps. I celebrate the coming of the great green Arkle seizure. Achoo, bless you, sir. Also, my pal Sal says use I statements. This is a great way to clearly communicate what I need using I statements. And Izzy also brings up a great point. We cannot control how others perceive our boundaries, needs, or expectations. 100%. I'm totally in Arizona. Dude, you play the saxophone? We bought my buddy Mike a saxophone for Christmas one year, and he came back to us and said, dude, this thing's like a little noise factory. It's way beyond my capabilities. And we were like, dude, you just got to practice. And he practiced, and that thing is a little noise factory, and it's far more complicated than we all initially assumed. And dude, we got him a bright red. It's metal, right? It's shiny. It's a legit sax, but all the metal is like it's got like a red finish to it. So it's like this bright red saxophone. It's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet, dude. I want to get a trumpet so I can make anthem sounds. Brianna, so good to see you. I've been missing you. And Flick and I have been talking about you. Brianna says, I'm tired of having the expectation of my mother being a good mother. One moment, she will be nice, loving, caring, everything I've ever wanted her to be. Then the next, be the exact opposite. This definitely sounds like, um, well, I guess I shouldn't diagnose people. I'm not a doctor, right? This doesn't sound comfortable. That's for darn sure. Brianna says she always lulls me into a false sense of security, and stupid me thinks it's going to last forever. But she always goes back to her ugly side. I fall for it every time without fail. Brianna, it hurts my heart a little bit to hear that this is your perspective, and I know that this is your reality as well. But I have to say, I bet you and your mom both have been through a lot, you know? And I'm not trying to stick up for your mom at all. I'm just trying to stick up for you. Um, you and your mom have probably been through a ton, you know? And I bet you she doesn't necessarily know how to do better, you know? Um, but again, that doesn't make it okay, right? That doesn't make it okay. I'm just trying to say that I bet you she wants to be nice, you know? I bet you she wants to be good, and she just doesn't know how. I'm so glad you're here, Brianna. We have missed you. I'm sorry this is going on. Let's get some ones up for Brianna, huh? And her mom. And at the end of the day, Bri, um, you know, it sucks to say, but y'all might need some distance, right? If that's your relationship, it's obviously not benefiting either of you, right? It's probably bringing you both down. Y'all might deserve Not only deserve, but need some distance and some space for a little while, at least a little while. It definitely sucks, Brown. I see you. I see you. Thanks for sharing this with us, though. We worry about you because we love you. Let's see what we got here for the end of my expectations show. So we're managing expectations from others, right? Clarify what's expected, evaluate their reasonableness. Are the expectations placed on you fair and manageable? If not, discuss or negotiate adjustments, right? It's like, dude, I can't get off work and then work on your car every day, right? I just worked 10 hours doing manual labor. Why don't I work on your car on the weekends, right? Not even every day, right? Let's just I'll work on the car Saturday and Sunday, all right? If you want me to work on your car, sweetheart, can I please just do it on the weekends? That went over well when we had that conversation. I tried though. I tried. We can only do our best though, right? Sometimes we're met with adversity and it is what it is. We've done what we can. Also, managing expectations from others, set boundaries, right? Learn to say no when expectations become overwhelming or unreasonable and recognize that when you're saying yes to someone else, often you're saying no to yourself. You got to say yes to yourself. I tell you what, not all the time, right? But you got to give yourself the time of day, folks. You're important. You're worth it. You're valuable. You're unique, special. Dream another sunset with you. I think I just wrongfully banned a guy on accident. Snake Plissken, please come back. All I ever wanted was to dream another sunset with you. When it's over, wake up with the fondest memories. Yep, can't hit that note. I might have to fix it later. I wonder if other channels have as many people on their ban list as we do. Because this thing gets so much, it's so big. It's so hard to find people that you banned that you want to unban. I tell you what, it's almost impossible. We'll have to come back. I'll have to come back and deal with it later. That's okay. 100% Jamie. We definitely, I think one of the coolest things about having parents that have made mistakes is we get to hopefully learn from those mistakes, right? I definitely have a lot of takeaways from my parents, from their goods and their bads. End of musing. Hello, hello. Good to see you. I guess let us wrap this up. We're almost there. We are almost there. The role of unspoken expectations. Unspoken expectations. When you assume someone knows what you need without telling them, um, unspoken expectations are a common source of disappointment. People can't read minds. So it's important to recognize when your expectations are unspoken, right? When you haven't stated them, take responsibility for communicating them clearly. Now, I don't think this is a problem that I have. I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times. I don't think this is a problem that I have. I think that clearly communicating expectations is easy for me. I don't think that it's easy for everyone. And in fact, I know that it's very difficult for some people. Some people, their brain just thinks that it just skips that part or something. I'm not a scientist, right? So I don't really know what's going on, but recognize when your expectations are unspoken, please, for all of us, and then take responsibility for communicating them clearly, right? Or not. Also, balancing high and low expectations. High expectations can inspire achievement, but might lead to stress or perfectionism if they're too rigid, right? Stay flexible. Low expectations reduce disappointment, but might also limit potential growth or satisfaction, right? Healthy balance. We want to aim high, but realistic. Aim for high, but realistic expectations that motivate without overwhelming. Yeah, word of the day was blocked by mistake. I'm gonna curious. I'm working on getting them out of there. There's like 600 people on the ban list, so it just takes me a second to find them. My finger twitched. Nice to meet you, Vince. I don't believe we've ever spoken before. Hmm. It's good to know that we still have some lurkers out there that are working up the courage to hang out and talk. That's really really cool. That always makes me so happy. Jazzy girl, what's going on? Good to see you. I will totally get them unbanned, yo. I just have to scroll through the whole thing, and I'm about to end the show, and as soon as I do that, I can give it my full attention. So no sweat. I'm sorry about that. Managing disappointment. Thank you for saying this, James. You are the man. I really appreciate you. When expectations are not met, it's normal to feel let down, folks. Right? That is a normal emotion, a normal reaction. Don't feel guilty for feeling let down. Feeling let down is how we know that things didn't go properly, right? So here's how to handle it. Reflect. Was the expectation realistic or communicated effectively, right? Did we check all of our boxes? Did we do everything we needed to do? Hey, there it is. Sorry about that word of the day. That was my mistake. Sometimes I make them too. I love your thumbnail is like a beautiful painting of the baddest action hero of all time, aka Snake Plissken, aka Kurt Russell. They don't make him like that anymore. He turns the girl down because he doesn't need any of that. He's too busy saving the world. Glad you're here, though. Word of the day. Sorry about that. That was totally my fault. I make mistakes. I felt threatened by Snake Plissken's one eye, dude. I was like, we're gonna have to get rid of this guy. Obviously. I don't think I've seen them both. I've only seen one, and I think it was the LA one. So I'm gonna have to go back and get my classics up because it won't do to not have seen both of those films. What are we doing? Managing disappointment. Was the expectation realistic? Was it communicated effectively? Dude, so you were about to say you learned the hard way, and then I did that thing. Do you still feel like sharing that information with us? How you learned the hard way? Because I kind of want to know now. If not, I totally get it. Learn. Use the experience to adjust your expectations in the future, right? All of our failures, obstacles, whatever, is about learning. It's an opportunity, right? What went right? What went wrong? How do we move forward? Hey, I do remember. Absolutely. Sometimes my brain is like Swiss cheese, and other times it's razor sharp. And I can't really tell the difference between this and that, but sometimes it's very, very good. Sometimes it's very, very good. Let go. Accept that not everything will go as planned, and that's okay. Life's going to throw us curveballs. We can only do our best, and we're going to land where we will, right? Hopefully, hopefully, we land, and we're still able to keep running, right? Keep moving. Final thoughts. I love this part. Expectations are like a roadmap. They guide you, but they're not guarantees of how things will unfold, folks. By being mindful of your expectations, communicating them clearly, and staying flexible, you can reduce unnecessary stress, improve relationships, and live a more fulfilling life, which is what we're all trying to do, eh? Do a little better than we did yesterday. Just live a more fulfilling life. Whatever that means to you, right? My more fulfilling life most likely isn't your more fulfilling life, right? But we're all focused on that same goal and whatever it means for us. So I want to thank everyone that came and showed up here today uh, in search of that exact goal. Shout out to all the new people, the mods, the crew. You know who you are. I love you guys. You guys are the best. You make my mornings wonderful, and you change the outlook of my entire day on a daily basis. Word of the day says helping people is fine, but some take advantage. I have many examples. You have to set boundaries 100%. 100%. And it's boundaries I don't think are something that we come equipped with, right? Like we have to learn how to set these things. It's definitely not something we just know intrinsically, right? Um, but knowing is half the battle, right? That knowledge. Now we just have to figure out how to turn it into action, which often is a trick sometimes, but we're that much closer, eh? Jazzy Girl says, Spanx, I hope you're doing well. You look great. Glad to hear the end of the stream. I will catch up on replay. Well, much love, Jazzy Girl. I have missed you. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be coming back later today, hopefully doing some painting. Everybody and their brother knows what time I like to do that, so maybe no one will be live. When I say no one, maybe my dad and my uncle and Reese won't be live at that time. Because then I won't feel like I'm stepping on their toes. So, but maybe I should just go anyways. Because maybe it's not like that. I don't know. But I definitely hate feeling like my integrity is being taken from me, right? So either way, I'd like to do some painting today at about 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if my camera is still on. Let's see. We have this very, very strange painting we're working on. And I'd like to wrap it up today. I'd like to wrap it up. Is that as bright as that thing goes? That's crazy. That's because the window's open. Yeah, we have this crazy, weird, strange, abstract thing going on here. I don't really know what to do with it, but we're going to do something with it later today. So, I hope every single one of you has a wonderful day. This is the weekend before the week of craziness, the last week of the year, pretty much, right? Give or take a few days. So, I hope all of you can look back on 2024 and say, I did some cool stuff. I learned a lot. I fell down a little bit, but I definitely got back up. Met some cool people, whatever. I hope that you look back on this year fondly. And if you don't, we know we know what to change moving forward for next year, right? Little by little, baby steps. This has been the Lifeboat. I'm Captain Calhoun, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. All right, stay curious.